Hey y'all, what's going on? Today I'm going to go through 9 different progressions that you can use to build up to the one arm push up. And once the one arm push up is too easy, you can actually use 1 or 2 more progressions after to make it even harder. But yeah, I'll be sure to go through all the intricacies of all the movements I'm going over and kind of what you want to be aiming for before you decide to jump up to the next hardest progression. But before I get into all that, just want to say it is my 19th birthday today. A great birthday present would be for you to go down there and drop a like and subscribe. No, like for real, bro. That would actually be great. All right, I appreciate you, man. Let's get into it. Alright, so I want to start with something basic that pretty much anybody can do, and these are knees on the ground push-ups, just so that even if you're not the best at push-ups, you have something to do in order to work towards being better at push-ups instead of actually trying push-ups themselves and, not doing so great. Knees on the ground push-ups are relatively simple, pretty self-explanatory. You just get in push-up position, put your knees on the ground, and then you just do push-ups. Once these are relatively easy to do, there's no really specific number in mind, just once you feel like you can rep these out with ease, then you can go ahead and move up to push-ups, which is next on our progression list. So next with push-ups, these are also very self-explanatory. Just put your feet on the ground, put your hands on the ground roughly shoulder width apart, and then press up and then go all the way back down. Make sure to touch your chest to the ground. Don't do any of that crap where you're like sticking your neck out, like trying to count as a rep. You look like a chicken kissing the ground or something like that. Like, it's really weird, okay? So don't do that. You're also cheating yourself out of a rep by doing that. You're not actually doing anything useful for your body, so make sure you go all the way down. Once you can do these with ease, I'd say probably 10 in a row comfortably, then you can go ahead and move up to the next progression. Of course, you're going to have to do a lot more than 10 in a row if you want to do one-arm push-ups, but, it's just a good starting point, and it's a good number to aim for in order to move up to the next progression. The next progression is side-to-side push-ups, otherwise called archer push-ups. For these, you're going to want to put your hands out a lot wider than you normally would, so that you can go back and forth. It's kind of self-explanatory in the name, kind of explains what you're doing. You just simply go back and forth as you press, and you want to really emphasize that arm that you're going down towards, and try and only use that arm and that side of the chest to press back up. The other arm that's way over to the side, you want to kind of use to lightly assist, but try to use it as little as possible. And for these, again, you're going to want to aim for 10 reps, and that is 10 reps per side, so 20 reps total. If you don't get to 10, the next few progressions are going to be very hard as you slowly transition to the one-arm push-ups too. So make sure you're feeling very comfortable with these at 10 per side before you go to the next progression. Alright, the fifth progression is feet elevated side-to-side push-ups. So it's literally the same exact thing that I just explained, except your feet are up in the air on a bench or a box or whatever. Of course, the higher your feet are up in the air, the more of an angle that's going to be, so the harder it's going to be, and the more it's going to emphasize your triceps and your pecs. They're a lot harder than the previous progression, so it may take some time to work up to these, but again, make sure you're doing 10 per side, using the other arm to assist as little as possible. Once you feel comfortable with these, we can go ahead and move on to the next progression. Alright, next is where things start to get a bit fun, and this is the assisted one-arm push-up. Now, there's a couple things with noting here. First of all, you are going to have a hand off to the side, but instead of a full hand on the ground assisting you, you only want to use a few fingers. So as you first start out, you can start with 5 fingers on the side, but as you get stronger, you'll want to subtract the amount of fingers until there's only really 1 or 2 on the ground. Also, it's worth noting that your feet width on the ground don't necessarily need to be as narrow as it would be just with a regular push-up, especially as you first start out. It's going to be pretty hard, so you'll want to make your stance pretty wide. So as you first start out, have a wide stance, have maybe 5 fingers on the ground as you try and isolate one arm as much as possible, but as you get stronger, you can subtract the amount of fingers and you can narrow your stance as well. Again, you're going to want to aim for 10 reps per side on this, get it feeling pretty comfortable and pretty easy almost, before you move on to the next progression, feet elevated one-arm push-up. This one, I don't really have to go over too much. It's literally what you're just doing, but again, with your feet elevated to help make it even harder, put more resistance on your chest in an effort to transition to one-arm push-ups. Next, you're going to aim for that 10 per side mark. get it feeling pretty comfortable, and then you can go ahead and move on to the one arm push-ups. All right, so the best way to set up for the one arm push-ups is to simply get in a push-up position, but then put one hand behind your back. Again, you'll probably have to make your stance a bit wider to make it not so hard when you're starting out. But also, it can be super easy to cheat on these. One thing you can do to help try and prevent the cheating is, as you're going down on that arm, look in the direction that the arm is instead of facing away from it. That'll really help isolate that arm and keep you from, cheating and kind of using other parts of your body to get back up. These can be super hard to get better at, but just keep working at it and you'll get there, and you're going to want to aim for that 10 mark before you move on to a progression that's even harder. Be elevated one arm push-ups. This is the ultimate test of strength when it comes to calisthenics, your strength to weight ratio. Again, you're just going to do the setup as you would for a one arm push-up, but put your feet up on a bench, and as you get better at these, you can increase the height of the bench that your feet are on to make it harder. These are extremely hard, so don't feel too discouraged if you can't do them at first. Know that if you are even doing this, you're stronger at this than like 99.5% of the population, so that in itself is very impressive. And for this, of course, there is no number because I don't really have a progression in mind for after this, but I'm sure if you really want to, you can create harder versions, like weighted, for instance, and just put weights on your back. As far as progressions go, this is the hardest one. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you found it valuable, please drop a like. And yeah, that is it for the one arm push-up progressions. All right, y'all, that was it for this one. Please let me know what you think, if you like this kind of thing, and if I should do it some more. I'm about to head out and go do day 3 of my program. Day 2, I actually did a video on that a couple days ago, so you should definitely watch that if you haven't. But yeah, I mean, I was at Walmart yesterday. I saw Zoa there for the first time, the Rock energy drink. Pretty good, not gonna lie. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe, like, and yeah, see y'all in the next one.